Welcome to your 4 to 5. I'm Lauren Coleman here with Chad Silber, and we got Christian Morgan.
What's happening,
joining
guys?
the evening folks today from mornings to evening.
I gotta figure out how you people do it here in the afternoon.
Right, caffeine, you're probably going to need it.
Yeah, I got a coffee sitting right over there.
So you'd mentioned that you haven't been on the 4 to 5 in like a year and a half.
It's been at least a year and a half. I've been on mornings full time for about a year and a half, so at least that long.
I said this is similar to the 9 o'clock GMS hour, just at a different time slot.
Okay. We'll see what happens.
Pretty similar. It's like riding a bike. You'll be fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
I left my training wheels over there in the closet, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, he's going to have a forecast coming up this half hour. Plus, we're verifying something you've probably seen on TikTok involving ways to defrost your windshield.
Pretty relevant this time of year. More on that in just a moment. But first, the Triad, as we know, is known for its robust and diverse sporting events. I mean, you name it. We've got professional bull riding in Winston-Salem, minor league soccer in High Point, and now the Holy Angels Invitational in Greensboro.
That's right. High school wrestlers from several states are here vying for a title. WFMY News 2's Jalen Gilkey is diving deeper into the competition and what brought it to Greensboro.
Yeah, guys, the Holy Angels Wrestling Invitational has been one of the biggest wrestling events in the Southeast for over a decade. 100 boys and girls teams from 8 different states participating at the Greensboro Coliseum. They have this event in a chokehold for the next 10 years.
Greensboro was the perfect location. It's centralized in the state. They do the state tournament. They have all kinds of experience running wrestling events. Super 32 is here. So it was the perfect venue for us. We've got a 10-year deal signed, so we're going to be here long term. We know what our dates are going to be. We're trying to establish roots in Greensboro and make it known as a Greensboro event for years and years to come.
With teams and families from all across the nation here in Greensboro for the weekend, the City of Greensboro and the Greensboro Sports Foundation is eager to see just how much money this weekend's event brings to Tournament Town.
Thrilled that the Holy Angels Invitational chose Greensboro to move their holiday wrestling tournament. It's my understanding they outgrew the facilities down in Charlotte. There are 115 teams in town and over 1,700 wrestlers that are in town. So this is a huge economic impact at a slow time of the year and a great way to end our year.
And Jim wanted to make sure we got this message across. With this being the first ever year in a new venue, they have been experiencing a few technical issues, and he asked that parents and wrestlers alike be patient with the staff throughout the weekend.
All growing pains with any type of event, but I really hope that there are some northern teams here from northern schools because they can see how nice the weather can be.
So we got teams from Ohio. We got a team from Wisconsin there.
Nice, okay.
We got some teams, from colder areas that are here. They probably left sub-zero temperatures, and now they come here to Greensboro and see 40, 50s, and they're probably not. They don't want to leave.
They're like, this feels like our summer. What I like about this event is I don't know too much about wrestling. My parents didn't wrestle. My sister didn't wrestle. But I think having an event like this here in Greensboro, if you have a child that might want to be exposed to wrestling, a daughter or a son, this is a great way to get their eyes on a new game that they might not have thought about before.
Absolutely. And it was very interesting to hear that the Sports Foundation told me that they had recently purchased some wrestling mats just in preparation of any type of events. They have hosted a Super 32, which is probably one of the biggest events in wrestling. It's a non-seasoned, it's a non-high school season wrestling event. But that's what they've hosted at the Coliseum before. And so now with this event here, I mean, it's just more and more opportunity for our city.
More Tournament Town coming our way.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Jalen.
Thank you.
Well, let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup with some of your top headlines for today. More families are out of the cold thanks to newly installed pallet homes in Greensboro. The Interactive Resource Center says 17 people were living there on Christmas Day. The homes are located in Panoma Park. There are 30 units with the availability to house 60 people. The city plans on keeping the temporary residences until April of next year.
One of our local COVID numbers is showing a concerning spike. This graph shows the percentage of COVID tests coming back positive in Guilford County. The latest number is 20%. The last week has had some very high numbers, some of the highest we have seen this year. For example, on December 21st, the county reported a 30.2% day. That means nearly 1 in 3 COVID tests came back positive. It's easy to see it's the highest number on this graph, but it's actually the highest number the county has reported since January 22nd, more than 11 months ago. This graph shows all of this year so far. Our numbers were pretty bad during the month of January. The most recent trend is showing us headed in that direction. Meantime, the White House is concerned about the spread of COVID. The CDC expanded its surveillance program at airports that swab international passengers. Doctors hope the data helps them learn about new variants causing a spike in global cases. Starting next week, anyone traveling to the U.S. from China or neighboring countries must test negative before getting on the plane. It'll offer some benefits, but leaders admit it's not enough to stop the virus from spreading.
Right now, the Vatican is closely monitoring the health of Pope Benedict. Leaders say the former leader of the Catholic Church is conscious but remains in serious condition. Pope Francis released a statement on Wednesday saying the 95-year-old was very sick. Since the news, many people have visited the Vatican Gardens to pay their respects and offer up prayer.
Well, you want to talk about some nice, warmer weather across the Piedmont? Step outside today. It is absolutely gorgeous. Sunshine as far as the eye can see. We're sitting at 60 degrees right now in Greensboro. Of course, that report, coming out from PTI at the airport. Same kind of story over in Winston-Salem, even a little bit warmer on our station there with 62 right now in Winston-Salem. 61 in Burlington, 61 in Asheboro, 64 down for our friends in Troy, 63 in Albemarle. We also have low 60s along that North Carolina-Virginia border just to the north. And we have really come a long way since almost a week ago when we were preparing for our temperatures to drop down into the single digits. Now take a look. You can really tell the warm up in the morning low temperatures. Over the last few days, of course, Christmas morning, we were down to 13 degrees. Monday, we were also down to 13 degrees. The last couple mornings have been hovering in the low to mid 20s. But this morning, our low temperature was 28 degrees. And this will likely be our last morning at freezing or below for quite some time. So yes, the big warm up is coming. Tonight we will fall back into the mid 30s for most of the Piedmont cities. The outlying areas could see lower to mid 30s, but I think we all stay above freezing as a general rule overnight in the Piedmont Triad. Foothills, upper counties there near the North Carolina-Virginia border may be a different story. There could be a few spots that dip down to freezing overnight, but most of us will stay above freezing for the first night in quite a while across the Piedmont. For your Friday, we do see partly sunny skies to start, but ahead of the system that'll bring us rain for the first part of the New Year's weekend, we'll start to bring us some extra clouds by the afternoon. It's still a warm day of weather. We're up near 60 tomorrow, but clouds are on the increase tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening, and there could be a stray shower late tomorrow evening or tomorrow night ahead of Saturday. But I think if you have any outdoor plans or celebrations for Friday, you will be A-OK in the rain department. For your Friday, my forecast is for 61 degrees. We'll continue to be warm, but we'll talk about that chance for rain that could bring some of your outdoor New Year's Eve plans indoors. Coming up in just a few minutes.
And before we go to break today, some sad news in the world of sports. Brazilian soccer star Pelé has died. He was one of the most commanding sports figures of the last century. Pelé won a record 3 World Cups with Brazil. Late in his career, he helped popularize soccer in North America by joining the New York Cosmos. He'd been getting treatment for colon cancer discovered during a recent exam. Pelé was 82 years old. It is the time of year when we flirt with freezing in the morning, but by the afternoon, we're comfortably in the 50s.
The fluctuating forecast oftentimes causes you to overlook winter preps like defrosting the windshield. Our verified team looked into TikTok advice claiming to crack the time it takes to do this tedious task.
Right now on your social media feeds, you're probably seeing a lot of so-called winter weather windshield hacks. So let's verify which ones work and which ones you shouldn't try at home. We looked at tips from these sources and visited automotive instructor Laura Garcia to learn more. Anything involving rapid changes in temperature is a bad idea. Pouring boiling water on your windshield, you might bust the glass like this poor guy who went viral. Same goes for putting hot water in a bag.
Luckily, windshield glass is safety glass, so it's not likely to cut you too badly, but it can be a challenge.
But there are ways to safely de-ice your windshield without breaking out a scraper, like simply turning on the defroster.
Air transfers heat much slower to your glass, so you don't experience what's called thermal shock, where the glass is just going to absorb a whole bunch of heat at once and then completely shatter.
This TikToker recommends putting your visors down to speed up the process. Garcia blew some smoke through the vents of a training car to explain why it works.
The smoke is coming up over the windshield and actually into the cabin area. What you can do to aid in this heat transfer is just to flip your visor down, and then the heat will be able to be trapped a little bit better on the windshield area.
Another video claims that spraying alcohol on the ice will melt it. This video even shows a guy pouring a can of beer on his windshield. Messy, but technically it could work. That's why a low temperature wiper fluid often already contains a high concentration of alcohol. So between your defroster and your windshield wiper fluid, your best bet is probably already built into your car. With your Verify, I'm Abby Larico.
Huh.
I love seeing these hacks. Fortunately for me, I'm never up early enough to have to defrost anything, because by the time I wake up, it's mid-afternoon.
You leave all that for me to do, don't
yes,
you?
Exactly.
So you don't have those problems. With any of those hacks, you definitely have to make sure that you head out early, because that's the biggest thing I run into. Say I'm running late for work and I go, oh, now I got to defrost the car. That makes you cut corners and do the things you're not supposed to do.
Give yourself time.
Yes.
It takes time. Even after you scrape, you know, there's still some left to be had.
Yeah.
You have to get in there, turn the defroster on, turn it up, let it melt, and then use your windshield wipers to wipe it away. And I think one thing we do too often is get in a hurry and you turn the windshield wipers on and it scrapes all the ice and then chops up all your windshield wipers.
Right.
So then
I can't wait to the point of adulthood where I just get a garage.
See, that's what I want. Actually, my mother came to visit me last evening as she was driving back up to Virginia, and she left the house when I left for work, and we both had to get the froster out. And she said, I don't have these problems because I have a garage. We both didn't think about that when I was coming out, and I said, do you have a scraper? She said, yes, this is my first time pulling it out this year.
So this little scrape meter behind us here in the monitors here, I have posted that before and said, you know, you might have to scrape this morning, and it's amazing the amount of comments I get. They're like, no, I don't. I have a garage. Right. Well, some of us don't.
Yeah.
That's goals, life goals, is get a garage.
Is that going to be your resolution for 2023?
Heck no.
Chad gets a garage.
I mean, that would be great.
You know you've made it if you have a garage.
Chad's garage, a new feature.
Oh, gosh. All right, well, hey, if you haven't checked out our 4 to 5 live stream, you are missing out. I just asked people on our Facebook page if you have any big plans for New Year's Eve. Come let us know, or join the 4 to 5 club. Just search for it and we will let you in. Just click join group. We'll be right back.
I think it's safe to say that we have officially bounced back from our Arctic chill and deep freeze over the Christmas holiday. Just take a look today. It is absolutely gorgeous outside. If you have not been outside, rarely do I want you to, go away from this, but I encourage you to step outside. Take advantage of it. Sunshine and temperatures near 60 for pretty much everybody across the board. Down in the mid 60s toward Charlotte, upper 60s to near 70 if you go down south in South Carolina and in Georgia. And you notice all of this warmth that's building out across the deep south and in the middle of the country. That is all heading our way. So we have more warming to go over the next few days and as we head into the New Year's holiday. Take a look across the southeast. Really no weather systems that I'm tracking for you there, but not too far back to the west. We see our next system getting its act together. It's a cold front and an area of low pressure that are going to bring us some rain as we go into the New Year's holiday. Right now, high pressure sitting overhead. That's keeping us dry, keeping all of that beautiful sunshine around. Clockwise flow around that high pressure system is going to start to change our wind direction, though, even more as it slides offshore. So our winds will start to come out of the south and out of the southwest, which is a warmer wind direction. It's also bringing in some moisture out of the Gulf of Mexico, all to aid in the rain production for this system for your Saturday. So cold front gets a little closer to us. Meanwhile, another area of low pressure develops over the Gulf of Mexico. That's really going to be the main system that brings us the rain for your Saturday, but it's in and out of here on Saturday. So your entire New Year's weekend is not a washout. I can guarantee that. Let's take you through in time and show you what to expect over the next 48 hours. Tomorrow we start with plenty of sunshine early on, but the clouds will start to thicken up as we go throughout the day and especially into your Friday evening. There could be a stray shower somewhere across the area tomorrow night, but I think we're just mainly dry for tomorrow. For your Saturday, New Year's Eve, we could have some rain across the Piedmont by the time you wake up. And then as we go throughout the day, on and off rain, maybe a few rumbles of thunder from time to time too. But watch this. Most of our rain is done and starting to taper off as we go into your Saturday evening. Not to say there won't be a shower around, but I think most of our rain is done by midnight as we welcome 2023. So there's your New Year's weekend. It's a two-parter, rain and upper 50s for New Year's Eve. We are drying it out and a really nice day of weather for New Year's Day. Sunshine and low 60s heading into your Sunday afternoon. We will stay warm going into the first official week of the new year. We stay dry for Monday, but our next chance for rain moves back in by the middle of the week with Tuesday and Wednesday, maybe even Thursday rain too. And that's your forecast. More than 4 to 5 coming up after this.
Two scientists find love through their love for volcanoes. Sadly, that connection is what leads to the fearless couple's demise. Movie critic Manning Franks dives into their story while unraveling nature's most powerful explosive.
How far would you go for love? Not just in the pursuit of someone you love, but also of what you do. Not your hobby or your job, but your passion. And would you put yourself in harm's way for that passion? See, that is exactly what volcanologists Katya and Maurice Kraft did every time they set foot on one of these destructive and yet majestic beasts. Fire of Love bears both of their souls in a documentary that will take your breath away.
For Katya and Maurice, the unknown is not something to be feared. It is something to go toward.
Moi, j'aime bien qu'il marche devant moi. Je me dis, s'il va se tuer, je préfère être avec lui, donc.
Through hours of archival footage, the dynamic lives of volcanologists Katya and Maurice Kraft are shared to screen. The husband and wife duo helped unravel the mysteries of our planet, save lives, and film the most volatile volcano imagery ever recorded.
C'est très dur, deux volcanologues qui vivent ensemble, parce que c'est très volcanique, donc franchement, ça fait des éruptions très souvent.
While these pioneers ultimately died doing what they love, Fire of Love chronicles the vibrancy of the images they captured while telling the story of their passion that was equally vibrant. Fire of Love proves that documentaries can excel as love stories, and the love between the Crafts is all too evident amidst the backdrop of these towering infernos. The archival images that they shot are some of the most visually entrancing images you will see all year. Couple that with an effectively moving score and a hypnotic narrative voiceover from Miranda July, they combine to tell a story that proves to be a documentary masterpiece. Always engaging, Fire of Love never feels esoteric in its exploration of the science behind volcanoes. Instead, it uses this new information to progress the craft's story forward by sharing in their love and passion for these majestic creations with the audience. Maurice and Katya, through their own footage, prove to be compelling and sympathetic characters to the tragic end. It accomplishes what all documentaries strive for, but few achieve, mixing the informative with the emotional. Fire of Love is the best love story of 2022, not just because of the love that these two real people shared, but because of what the two of them did together with that love that was broadcasted so broadly for all to see. This film, at its molten core, is about love. And I've probably said love a lot during this review. With that, I'm giving Fire of Love a 2 approved. You can stream it on Disney+.
It looks good, but sad.
It does look sad. I don't know if I would seek this out, but since Manning gave it a 2 approved, I'm going to take his word because I trust his judgment. I might actually check this out this weekend.
I think even if I wasn't interested in it, Manning sold it to me.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I don't know, I might watch that.
And even if I didn't care about the love story, I mean, just to see some of those images of volcanoes and lava, I mean, it's incredible what is inside of the earth. And what sometimes spews out.
Yeah, for me, it's not even the plot. It's not even the love story. I just want to watch it for the scientific nature of the volcanoes.
Right.
And you can learn something from it, and I like a good love story, so I might check that out. I do love documentaries, but I'm more so of a true crime type of person. So maybe I need to switch it up this time around.
You know, I have a small soapbox I'd like to get on right now.
Okay.
So this is on Disney+. Why can't we just have where we just pay a fee and we get access to all of the streaming services?
I would love that, like a good bundle deal. Basically, paying for a cable, you would do $45 a month, but then you would get the Hulu, the Netflix, the Prime, the Disney.
All of it.
See,
I like that idea.
Have you guys seen where Apple's doing this bundle pack now? It's called like Apple One. So you can get, you know, a lot of people have extra cloud storage with the iCloud, then they have Apple Music, then you may have Apple Plus and this and that and the other. And Apple now is doing a bundle. It's called Apple One, where you can get the music service, you can get everything they offer in streaming in one package. So you don't have to have maybe Apple Plus, and then you have Spotify, then you have another system. So they're doing it all as a bundle pack. So maybe we're starting to see that maybe leaning that direction.
I think we're seeing in that direction. Everybody's competing against each other. So
that still doesn't help me when I need Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, AMC Plus, all
maybe
the
we'll
other
just back up and all go back to cable.
Just borrow somebody else's login.
That's true.
Ask your cousin for their login.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the 4 to 5. I'm Lauren Coleman here with Christian Morgan and Chad Silver.
Hey, everybody.
Happy Thursday, everybody.
So 30 minutes in, how you feeling?
I'm good.
You miss us?
I do miss you.
He's
I see
not
you
gonna
guys.
say no.
I don't ever see you. I see you on social media. That's how I
true.
keep up with you. I
That's
see
true.
you in the hallways.
That is true.
You look like you've gained some weight. I'm just kidding.
I have. I literally
Holiday
have.
weight.
I was just telling
Healthy
I was
weight.
just telling Lauren before that my coat's fitting a little snug today after all the Christmas cookies and all the nonsense that I was eating.
And I said you still have New Year's to look forward to, too.
I know.
See, the last time I saw Chad, though, that sounded mean because there's no context. The last time I saw Chad, though, he said, "Man, I've been losing so much weight lately." And I said, "I know, I can see wrinkles in your coat." And now it looks like you're filling that back out.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you, holidays.
Thank you for pointing it out. Now, if you're taking Christian Morgan to a party or somebody else who has controversial statements, you need to know about etiquette, party etiquette ahead of New Year's Eve, and we're going to be looking into that coming up this half
Christian,
hour.
Clearly, I
pay
have none.
close attention. Play close attention to that story. Well, speaking of New Year's, the countdown to a new year is on with just 2 more days left in 2022.
Yeah, preps for celebrations are underway across the globe, signaling a beginning of a new chapter.
Are you ready? Yeah! Here we go, guys! 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year!
Woo! Looks like fun. While this looks cute, it is not the actual New Year's celebration in Times Square. Instead, you're looking at the confetti drop test.
Yeah, it happens every year and is just one of the many events ahead of the big day. A bit of confetti is tossed in the air before 3,000 pounds of it drops on New Year's Eve.
Wow, 3,000 pounds. That's not the only thing flying above Times Square. Right now, crews are putting the finishing touches on the iconic crystal ball.
Yeah, it features more than 2,600 Waterford crystal triangles to go along with this year's theme, The Gift of Love.
The world needs love. We need this. And I think that's what it's all about. So we can kind of celebrate with your loved ones, you know, as you celebrate this brand new year coming in, a new start for everybody.
New York isn't the only state ringing the new year in style. Check out this keg drop hosted by South End Brewing Company.
This happens in Greensboro. There will be a champagne toast just before midnight. The party starts at 9:30 p.m.
Very cool. How do you all plan to ring in the new year? Any plans?
Plan to be at the beach.
Nice.
That's the plan. I don't ever, you know, unless my band plays, you know, a New Year's gig, I usually do it. Usually pretty low key.
Yeah, I always try to do something very outrageous. So
I believe it.
But this year my plans were made for me. I'm going to a wedding in Charleston, South Carolina, so we'll be in the same state.
Okay.
Nice.
And I've never been. Have you guys ever been to a New Year's Eve wedding?
I have not been to a New Year's
so.
Eve wedding, but
No.
that sounds like a great time.
I'm really curious to see what they're going to do around midnight. you
Well,
know?
I know some of your friends, and I know that they put on a good party.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
I would expect nothing less than that. But I'm also interested. You know, most of the times, receptions and wedding parties end by 10, 11
That's what I
o'clock.
was
So
about
is
to
this going to
ask.
go late,
This
like
goes
past
until
midnight?
1 a.m.
What time does the
Okay.
wedding start?
The wedding is at 3:30. The reception starts at 6. So I mean, it's like a full work day.
So
of
you guys are
reception.
partying all day long from 3:30 to midnight. Party will probably wrap up around 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Are you prepared? Are you
I
ready?
am ready. I've got a tuxedo. It is a formal wedding, so it's going to be.
So
it's
this
gonna
is
be
black
pretty
tie.
good. It's going to be, yes.
Okay.
And I can't wait.
Nice. Meanwhile, I'll be inside making vision boards and sipping on a couple cocktails.
But like that's what you love to do. on
Yeah,
New Year's
I
Eve.
do like to do that. Well, a new year can sometimes make people want to get rid of the old stuff. A popular way to declutter is to donate items to nonprofits like Goodwill. But it's important to know everything isn't suitable for donation. Here's a few items they say are on the naughty list.
When you step into the Goodwill on North Main Street in Kernersville, you can find new and gently used clothes, shoes, and household appliances for sale.
Yeah, we see a big surge in donations this time of year as people are kind of trying to declutter to start the new year off fresh. And people may not be aware that some kinds of donations are either a little bit dangerous for our employees to be handling or are just things that we can't sell because they would be hazardous to other shoppers.
Sarah Butner is the communications manager for Goodwill Industries of Northwest North Carolina. She says batteries like the ones in this CD player she found in her home should be removed before donation.
The batteries get old and leak, light bulbs break, and so those kinds of things when they're as part of a donation can be really hazardous for our employees to be handling.
Aerosol cans, hazardous liquids, and recalled consumer products can pose certain dangers too.
A lot of items like baby car seats and playpens and cribs and even sometimes exercise equipment end up being recalled by the Consumer Product Safety Commission. And you may not, as someone who owns that, realize that that's been recalled, and then you donate it to Goodwill. If we resold that, we have no way of knowing that that's been recalled either, but that would not be safe for someone to buy that from us.
Donations to Goodwill Industries of Northwest North Carolina help to fund the employment and training services for more than 30,000 people each year. Butner says if an item is not in sellable condition, the cost of handling or disposal pools funds that would otherwise support Goodwill's workforce development programs.
If you are careful and take the time to go through your donations and make sure that they're safe, that ensures that they will be put to the best use to help the people and serve the mission of the organization that you're supporting.
Some items like CRT televisions and kerosene heaters legally have strict regulations for their sale or disposal. Those kinds of items should not be donated to the Goodwill. The organization also wanted to remind folks, if you're going to be donating, some pants or maybe a purse or a suitcase, make sure you check those pockets, because sometimes people they leave cash in there or other loose items that they can't take in for donation. So you don't want to miss out on a check or a dollar you might have in your pocket.
I'll get tips.
I think this is a great story to do, because oftentimes I will go to donate things at Goodwill, and you just kind of see what people have left there before me, and it's just trash.
Yeah.
I mean, oftentimes it's just stuff that they just don't want to throw away. They think somebody might want it or somebody could use it, but in reality, it should just be tossed in the garbage.
Absolutely. I think if you would never use it for yourself, or you would never give it to a family member, you shouldn't give it to the public. That's my thought process when donating.
In this realm, one man's trash is not another man's treasure in that regard.
And there's a lot of great items you can find from the Goodwill. Some things that you can donate that some people might not think about are computers and laptops. They do have a process where they can refurbish the computers and they'll wipe everything clean off of them. I probably have a couple laptops from college just sitting underneath my bed or in my closet that someone else could use. They can make it brand new.
And they'll log into your AIM and chat under your. Does that still
it'll be wiped clean. Queen LC for life. Hey, Will, that was my instant messenger. But a lot of great things happening at Goodwill, and as I said in the story, all of that money goes to help provide jobs and services and training for other people.
That's great. All right. Well, let's get your 4 to 5 roundup now. First up today, a batch of new laws are going into effect on Sunday. Yes, the first of the year. Some could impact your day-to-day. The state income tax is dropping from 4.99% to 4.75%. On the flip side, the gas tax is going up, which could mean higher prices at the pump. There are also significant changes involving law enforcement, such as mandatory mental health training for officers and tighter punishments for people who riot. Southwest Airlines says it expects to resume normal operation tomorrow. The company canceled more than 2,300 flights today as it tries to emerge from a nationwide computer system meltdown. That's on top of the chaotic Christmas weekend in which flights were canceled for more than 1 million passengers. Both the flight attendants and pilots unions say they have complained about technology failures for years. The federal government is now investigating. The White House is concerned about the spread of COVID. The CDC expanded its surveillance program at airports that swab international passengers. Doctors hope the data helps them learn about new variants causing a spike in global cases. Starting next week, anyone traveling to the U.S. from China must test negative before getting on the plane. It'll offer some benefits, but leaders admit it is not enough to stop the virus from spreading.
Well, safe to say we have bounced back from our deep freeze over the Christmas weekend. And take a look back at the month of December so far. You see all of these blue boxes? Those are days below our average high temperature for the day. Up to this point, there have only been 4, and yesterday was our first one in about 3 weeks. And today, actually our first day at 60 since back on December 8th when it was 61 degrees. And no doubt about it, it is a beautiful day across the Piedmont. I really do hope that you had the chance to get out and enjoy it. 60 degrees right now in Greensboro with sunshine as far as the eye can see as we start to approach sunset for the evening. 59 degrees right now in High Point with full sunshine. Pretty much everybody touching touching the 60s today, or touching that 60-degree mark in the Piedmont Triad. Areas to our north and west, the foothills, a little bit cooler, but still upper 50s to near 60. So a gorgeous day anywhere you look. Also, if you look back at those morning low temperatures, this really starts to tell the story. 13 degrees Christmas morning, 13 degrees on Monday. The last couple days have been in the mid-20s. This morning we were in the upper 20s, but this was likely our last morning at freezing or below for quite some time. I see us hovering in the mid-30s and low 40s for morning lows for a good chunk of the next week or so. So tonight, mostly clear skies. It will be chilly, but we drop down into the mid-30s for most of the Piedmont Triad. Areas to our north and west and the foothills may be a little different story. Some of those spots may have the chance to drop down to around freezing, but for the most part, I think we are done with freezing nights across the Piedmont. Heading into your Friday, we will start with sunshine. It's a partly sunny day of weather, warm again near 60, but clouds on the increase ahead of that system that brings us rain for New Year's Eve. We'll time it out for you and look ahead at the holiday weekend in just a few.
New data shows stronger connections are forming online. According to Thrift Books, 73% of Americans find it easier to relate to strangers online than to those they know in real life. But that's not all. Of the 2,000 people surveyed, nearly half say they're more comfortable communicating in written form. They also found themselves chatting with their virtual pals much longer and feel a strong sense of community during online discussions. Now, this reminds me of our conversation we were having a few minutes ago when you brought up AOL or Instant Messenger. So when I was in middle school, AOL kids or AOL teens, they used to have these chat rooms where you could speak to other people across the country. And I remember staying in those for hours, just getting to talk to people in Texas or New Orleans or New York. And, you know, you felt comfortable talking to those people because there's no sense of judgment, I guess, that people don't know who you are.
Who is Queen LC for life, they said.
Yeah, they said, who is Queen LC for life? What did you have to say? Your name, your age, and your location?
Name, age,
sex, location.
Yeah, ASL.
Yeah.
See, when I hear a story like this and hear about the survey that was done or whatever information they used, I find it hard to believe because I've read the comments on Facebook.
Okay.
Like, think about, you know, if you're on Facebook and you follow the WFMY News 2 Facebook page, you see the horrible things that people say on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
To each other, to people they don't know. And I find this hard to believe because people are so vile and disgusting sometimes.
I think that's the flip side of that, because you're talking about commenting on a post or, you know, social what am I trying to say? Cyberbullying, things of that nature. But I think if you're chatting in a chat room or you're doing a dating app, that kind of communication, those are the positive things. But on the flip side, it can be negative because people can create a persona and be someone who they aren't, and they could be catfishing and doing all those kind of things too.
I just think it's such a different world online now than it was when we had AOL Instant Messenger.
Yeah.
You know, we've made so much progression in the wrong way over the years, especially now that everything is so easily accessible. It's on the phone, it's on the tablet, it's everywhere you go. And I think people I think it's like riding a bike. You know, first you get the training wheels off and you're still a little iffy about it. Then when you really start to get comfortable, you start to take chances. You know, you start to hop the curb, you start to take jumps. And I think that's what's happening now. Everybody feels comfortable. They feel like they can say whatever they want to say to whoever they want to say it to without it affecting anybody at all.
No filter.
No filter at all.
I think people really need to get back to picking up the phone and talking a little bit, because when you get to meet people, they don't have good communication skills in person because they've been doing a little too much texting and not enough, you know,
people
maybe
are much
talking
more
on the
reserved
phone.
in person than they are on the internet.
I think you found a New Year's resolution for anybody out there looking for one.
Boom.
All right, well, if you have anything nice to say, please say it to us online. Become a member of our 4 to 5 Facebook group. But yes, please only say the nice things. Just send us a little 4 to 5 Club join group and we will let you in. We'll be right back.
Friends, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie, they forever go together like a classic combination. very soon it will be cheers to a new year. If you're at a party to ring in 2023 or you're throwing them, what is the right time for guests to leave the party? All right, it's up for discussion. What is the right or the wrong time?
Before 2.
Before 2,
Before
okay.
2. If you're going to a lounge or a club, things probably don't get popping until midnight or after midnight, but I think around 2 o'clock would be a safe time to be like, it's over.
Okay. And I think it changes maybe if you're at someone's house.
Yes.
Sure. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you were at a designated event, if you will, not somebody's house, but maybe an event, I'd say most of those come to an end by 1, usually, as a general rule.
If I'm hosting, stay as late as you want. If I'm attending, I'll be one of the last to leave.
Oh, you're a stayer.
Oh, yeah.
He's a stayer.
You
All
expect
right.
breakfast, don't
But
you?
not uncomfortably staying.
Okay,
How do
because
you know?
the homeowner's like, all right,
How
Chad.
do you know? You got to go.
Because you know what? People like me.
Party ended 3 hours ago.
All right, so
Chad's like, "What's for
speaking of this, let's check out a recent survey of about 2,000 adults. Now, most people think that it's rude to overstay, but also rude to leave before midnight. So the perfect time to leave the party is within an hour after the ball drops, so about 1 a.m. The average host typically has about 19 people in that survey. Around 70% of hosts say they plan to invite more people than usual. And here are what's considered the top party essentials, of course. Good theme, good food, good music, good drinks, right? So what makes or breaks the party for you guys?
Good music.
You have to have good music. I think so too. You can make your own fun if you at least have good music.
Okay.
I need all attention to be on the ball drop at 10 minutes till.
Oh, yeah.
I can't stand. I've been to New Year's Eve parties where the TVs are just kind of on in the background and nobody's paying attention to it.
And you're like, this is the whole thing.
I need a countdown. I need to feel sad for 10 minutes before because it's a new year, new chapter. I need all of it.
Okay. All right. So cocktails on New Year's are a staple. Do you make your own or do you do something ahead of time so you don't have to mess with it if you're the one who's throwing the party?
When you say make your own, like make a pitcher full of
Or make them
drinks,
as you're going.
So when I host a party, I like to have a signature drink that's just there, ready
That's
to go.
already made.
Ready to go.
Okay.
I think it depends on the host. I think it depends on what you're doing. You know, if you're throwing the party, I don't know. I think it depends on what kind of tone you set for the party when you invite people.
I agree with that. I've seen it where a lot of people will have a signature drink in a pitcher and then just have like your wine, your beers.
That you can
know,
get
do
or
your own
whatever.
thing, or some people do bring your own bottle. I think it just depends on who's hosting.
Okay.
You haven't answered any of the questions that you have asked.
Well, because I'm asking all of the questions.
She's trying to get her ideas for hosting
Yeah,
the party.
she's
She
like,
hasn't got it together
so
yet.
what do you do?
I know, right? I like to make as we go, right? So
Okay.
like if you're going to have a signature cocktail, I usually don't make it ahead of time. I usually do it on the thing. Okay,
Got
but
to stay
anyway,
on shift tonight, too.
so I looked around for the best of the pre-made cocktails and drinks, and Consumer Reports tested them out.
One of the better things about canned cocktails is that they allow you to focus on your guests and not on preparing your cocktails yourself.
So how does canning something that's meant to be served fresh from the bar really taste?
A lot of cocktails work really well in cans, but one thing you have to look out for is that it's very hard to can fresh citrus juice or fresh fruit juice. They're going to be their own thing.
For example, this Bacardi Mojito. Testers said it didn't taste exactly like a mojito, but it was still a surprise hit. They described it as a spiked Sprite, refreshing and sweet. For a little less of a sweet hit, tasters like this Cutwater Tequila Paloma. They said it's slightly citrusy and reasonably priced, which makes it a good party pick. Now, if you want to keep efforts and costs down, Consumer Reports says consider boxed wine. Not only do boxed wines cost less than bottled, they last longer too, so there's less waste after the party is over. The favorite picks from Consumer Reports were Wineberry, Black Box, and Block Red.
Well, we're continuing to warm up as we wind down the year 2022. And a couple things I want you to keep in mind here. We are done with the freezing nights for a while. I don't see us getting below 32 at least for the next 7 to 10 days. We're going to have this warmer weather with us through the holiday weekend on into the first official week of 2023. Your New Year's Eve, though, is going to be a wet one for your Saturday with on and off rain, but it does taper off by the time we head towards midnight as we welcome in the brand new year. And New Year's Day itself is going to be gorgeous. Sunshine and low 60s for the afternoon. We'll stay warm and dry for Monday, but another shot at rain moves back in by the middle of the week, but we still stick it out in the mid 60s through the middle of the first official week of 2023.
Hey, giving you a mic check. I am moving my verts.
Hey there, everybody. Mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Check 1, 2, 3, 4.
Tonight we are.
Hey, the prompter on camera 3 is flickering really badly. That's strange. I've never seen it do that before.
It was doing that in the floor too.
Sorry. Christian Morgan is in the house. Christian Morgan.
Hey, it's time for my 2 cents. Today, we are talking post-holiday blues. You know that feeling. Christmas is over. You get all the excitement for Christmas Eve and Santa and the presents, and boom, over with, and now you're like, oh. Sometimes it happens after New Year's for people. For me, I'm not a giant New Year's fan, so Christmas, it's after that is when I get down a little bit. So I looked at a website, Psych Central. They said 64% of people experience some sort of holiday, post-holiday letdown. But they gave us some ways to cope, and some of this makes sense. Self-care, just sleeping enough, eating right, because you know how you eat over the holidays. And then finally get back into an exercise routine. Technically, it's all about the routine, right? Whether we know it or not, our minds, our bodies like structure, and it kind of settles you down a little bit. And then they called this RSVPing, but what they're saying is don't just say yes to everything that someone asks you to do. pick and choose carefully. Do things you enjoy doing, not things you're obligated to do. And then finally, they said, and this is an easy one, right? But the feelings will go away. Know that it always does. You know, the post-holiday blues, it has a certain time, and then it goes away. So knowing that they will go away makes us feel better too. Kind of like the old saying, this too shall pass. So just take some of those tips with you into the holidays, or exit the holidays. We still have New Year's. And just know that getting back to a routine is actually good for our minds. I think that's good for everybody with every situation that makes you a little down. But that's just my 2 cents, and that's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts now.
Tonight, the search for answers continues for a deaf Greensboro couple. Before Christmas, the couple says they pretty much lost everything when their furniture, personal belongings, and presents were all thrown away.
Turns out it was a mistake, a big and costly one. A company hired by the couple's apartment accidentally cleaned out the wrong unit.